Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today we are doing my April reading wrap up. I managed to read 8 books in May, despite the fact I started out the month a bit slumpy. So let's talk about it. So, my stats for the month, I read 3,298 pages this month. I've had 1 5-star, 4 4-stars and 3 3-stars. 1 book was dystopian, 4 were romance, 1 was Japanese fiction, 1 was dark romance and 1 was fantasy. And I read 3 books on Kindle Unlimited and 5 in paperback of the books I physically own. So we'll start off. The thing is, the start of the month was so good because I had a 5-star to start the month off, but I also was a bit slumpy. So I did read Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf. This is a dystopian, definitely more like a dark dystopian. Yes, like I say, I rated this a 5 stars. This is a true enemies to lovers. Okay, so we've got Grayson. He's an enforcer. He works for the Heart, which is like the capital basically. And he's not a good man, and he's not working for good people. His dad is essentially like the president. He's like the leader. I forget what they call. I don't think president was what was used, but his dad, if you imagine President Snow from the Hunger Games, that's Grayson's dad. Then you got Grayson, like I said, he's an enforcer. So his job is to kill people that stand out of line. And not only does he kill them, he kills them on a live stream that is streamed across the whole country to show if you step out of line, this will happen to you. So he's not a good man either, but he has these doubts. He has this this isn't right, and he doesn't like it, and he wants things to be different, but obviously he's under his father's thumb. So, and then we've got, okay, I don't know if it's Shadira, I don't know how to pronounce her name, I'll be honest. It did tell you in the front, I forgot the whole way through. She is like a hired mercenary type of person in the Boundary. So you've got 3 areas of the country. You've got the Heart, then you've got the Cardinal, and then you've got the Boundary. So the Boundary is where people are just so poverty stricken, they are dying of hunger, thirst or illness every day. They're basically just left to starve, and they're just left to suffer by the Heart. The Cardinal's kind of like an in-between. It's not great there, but it's better than the Boundary. Basically, people in the Heart, they're meant to keep their faces hidden, and the only person who can see your face is the person you marry. And something happens, and Grayson ends up unmasked in front of Shadira, and it's basically he would either die or he has to marry her, so they have to get married. It's forced proximity, it's enemies to lovers, I won't tell you more than that. So you get a lot of different people's points of view from the Heart, from the Boundary. I don't think we get any from the Cardinal. So you get a really good idea of the world, what's going on, different people's roles and how that impacts things, and how a lot of people are suffering in different ways and struggling and forced to do things they don't want to do because of various different reasons. So you get a really good idea of the world because of how many points of view you get, but it's not so many that it's confusing. There were a couple twists, I guessed, but the very end, oh my god, that I'm so excited for the next book, but it's not coming out till next year. It's gonna be so good. It's just a duology as well, which is lovely. We rarely get duologies these days. Yeah, I'm so excited for the next book because that ending had me mind blown. There is a reading vlog just of this book on my channel. If you want to watch it, feel free, go ahead, it's already up. Yeah, I was shocked, to say the least, at that ending. So it was a 5 stars. Next, I read Crimson River by Daphne Perry. This is book 5 in the Edens series. In this book, we're following Lila and Vance. So Lila gets attacked literally in the first chapter, and it's in the synopsis. She gets attacked by a random man, and when she goes to tell the police everything that happened a couple of days later, Vance turns up in town and he's looking for this man. There's a bit of a mystery as to why Vance is so dead set on finding this guy, but there's also the mystery of finding him. Who is he? Why did he try to kill her but then decide not to? There's a lot going on. And so I really loved the mystery of this one, but I also really did love the romance. I just thought it was fun. It was a little bit insta-lusty, but I didn't care. It was fun, and because we had the mystery going on with it, it didn't feel like the romance was moving so fast because the romance was the only thing we were focusing on. We had the mystery to focus on as well, so a couple of people on Goodreads didn't like how Insta Olivia was, but I wasn't bothered because to me it was just like fun. And there was other stuff to focus on. So I rated Crimson River at 4 stars, and I did give it like a 3 chili pepper rating. I'll go back. Daggermouth I give it 2 because there's like barely anything because it's a bit of a slow burn. But yeah, Crimson River I gave a 3 chili pepper rating. Then I went straight on to read Sable Peak, which is the final book in the Eden series, and I'm so sad that this series is over. I just realised I've got them here and I'm not even holding them up when I'm talking about them. There's Crimson River. And here is Sable Peak. Yes, I am so sad that this series is over. It's such a comfort series. I can see myself rereading these often because they're just so easy to read, so fun. I love the characters, I love the family. Like, they're just such a loving family. They're so accepting of people. And this one, so we're following someone we meet in Crimson River, and obviously it's the final Eden's family member that we have left. We're following Mateo, and we're following Vera, who we meet in Crimson River. She has been through a lot. She's had a very tough few years, to say the least, and I'm just so glad that she found a man who came from such a lovely family that just really pulled her into the fold and look after her as well, like as if they're her family. It's just so sweet and I loved it. This one, it takes a little while getting through it. You kind of, the first few chapters you're going like month by month, like there's quite a lot of time skips. Yeah, it was just such a good finale to the series and I'm really gonna miss this family. Next I read The Wild Card by Stephanie Archer. This one I rated a 4.5 stars and I gave a 3 chili pepper rating. I don't know, I thought this was the last book in the series, but in the last chapter we have set up a possible Luca storyline, and in the acknowledgements Warren is mentioned, so I don't know if they're going to do a spin-off series and that this arc of the story with these characters is finished or what, I don't know. So in this book we are following Tate and Jordan. They are both characters we've met previously. Jordan is the owner of the bar that the hockey team likes to go to when they're like after home games and what have you, and Tate is the coach of the Vancouver Storm. So Tate is a single dad. We like that, and it's a little bit of an employer-employee romance because, so we have, like I say, Tate is the coach. He's really close friends with the owner of the team. He helped him get through a really hard time, like he's always been there for him. In Tate's eyes, this man, who I can't remember what he's called, I'll be honest. Ross, his name's Ross. I thought it was Ryan, I was close. So yeah, Ross and Tate, decently good friends, they've known each other for a long time, and Ross has always been there for Tate. So in Tate's eyes, Jordan is just this really ungrateful child who needs to be nicer to her dad. And then we've got Jordan, whose dad was actually very absent when she was a kid, and so she's got no time for him now as an adult, which completely warranted. And Ross has basically decided he might sell the team. He's thinking, look, like, I wanted my daughter to work here and I would hand it on to her, but she's not interested, so I'm just going to sell the team. Like, it's time for me to stop this now. But if he sold the team, there might be changes, and our found family that we found through this series that we love might get separated. So in order to save the team and have it not be sold, Jordan gets like manipulated by her dad basically to join the team as a, like, what is her job? She's kind of like a talent scout, kind of like a coordinator. She just works for the team basically. So that makes Tate kind of her boss. So that's the premise. It's kind of forced proximity because now they're working together despite the fact they don't like each other. Single dad, like I said, employer, employee. It was just so good. It was so good. I don't know what it is about Stephanie Archer's writing, and specifically the series. She just, it's like crackers in the pages. I can't stop reading this when I'm reading it. I don't get distracted by my phone when I'm reading her books. I just want to sit and binge and read this. And I remember I was in such a bad mood one Friday at work. Just everything was annoying me. And so I came home and I just binged the last 200 pages of this book because I just needed this. I needed this to make me feel better. And it really just fixed everything that was wrong with me at the time. It was beautiful. The kid is cute. Oh my god, okay, don't. Because the kid's called B. I think he calls her Bea. Her name's Beatrice. So I have a friend called Beatrice. And we call her B as a nickname. B-E-A. Her nickname is spelled B-E-A, but they pronounce it Bea, and I didn't like that. So I was calling her B. Anyway, she is adorable. There is this one scene. This is part of a reading vlog if you want to see more of my thoughts on this book, by the way. It's the continuing series I'm in the middle of. There was this one scene where this child gets bullied and they take her guitar and like ruin it, and she leaves the school and she's just clutching her guitar case in her hands, in her arms like this, leaving the school, tears streaming down her face, and the guitar case is empty. I'm gonna cry thinking about that because that is such a sad, and because my friend, I can imagine her at that age and she would just be so cute because she's a beautiful person and she would just be adorable as a child. And I could imagine, and because I love B so much, my B, I'm like, the violence I would commit if I had seen that. So I loved B as well. She was really cute and she was just struggling to make friends, and it was just, oh, bless her, she was adorable. So I just love this book, I really do. And if it is the end of the series, then it was a beautiful, perfect end to the series. And if it's not, I can't wait for the next one. Okay, then I read Hexed by Emily McIntyre. This one I rated 4 stars and a 3, maybe like a 3.5 chili pepper rating. I mean, it's a little bit of a slow burn when it comes to the spice, but it is a dark romance, so the spice is a little bit extra, you know? This is my favourite of the whole entire series. I had heard a lot of people say that this book was the best one in the series when it was released, which I think was last year. But aside from Hooked was good in a like bingeable way. It was really enjoyable, but I didn't think it was amazing. I liked Wretched. Scarred was a bit slow for me, but it was fine. And Crossed, I really didn't like for various reasons. So I was a bit hesitant, but I ate this book up. This was so good. It's the longest book in the series by far. I mean, to be fair, the like writing is absolutely massive. So while this is 585 pages, I don't think it's 585 pages. This is like a reimagining of The Little Mermaid. So we have, she's called Ursa, but she goes by Vanessa, which is her middle name. We have Vanessa, who is kind of like involved in her uncle's mafia, her uncle being Tristan, I want to say, or some name beginning with T, so he's obviously, is his name Trident? King Trident, is that what his name is in The Little Mermaid? I can't remember, but he's, you know, him. And then Aria's her cousin, Aria being Ariel. Aria is the most annoying, entitled, stupid character ever, and she really royally annoyed me the whole way through this book, but I let it off because she was meant to annoy me. And the uncle was just a dickhead, so she's kind of like a mercenary for her uncle. And she runs a lot to do with like the mafia for her uncle. She does a lot for him, basically, wanting his approval, wanting his love. And one day she has gone to New York to trace down Aria because she's like run away, and her uncle wants her just to check on her. And while they're having this like argument on the beach, they hear a groan and they go to check it out. And there is Enzo lying on the beach, nearly dead, with I think it was a gunshot wound or a stab wound to his like stomach. They save him, but make it look like Aria was the one to do it. Fast forward a year, and Enzo is engaged to Aria, so it's a bit messy. And normally I don't like the idea of one of our endgame romantic couple being in a relationship while the story is playing out, because it just feels a bit icky and cheaty, and I don't like that. But because I hated Aria so much, didn't really care. I just wanted them to get together and Aria to just be left in a ditch somewhere. I won't tell you much more about the plot than that, but it was so good. I just was invested. I was so entertained. and it didn't feel like it was 585 pages. I just really enjoyed reading it. A lot more than I can say I did for the rest of the series, so this was definitely my favourite of the series by far, and I highly recommend this one. Then I read The Vanishing Cherry Blossom Bookshop by Takuya Asakura. This is a cozy Japanese translated fiction. I love, first of all, this cover is beautiful, like it's actually stunning. I love this genre of Japanese fiction where you've got your overall premise of the story and each chapter is following a different person. So my favourite one of this type of subgenre of Japanese fiction that I've read is What You're Looking For Is in the Library. That was a 5 stars. It felt so heartwarming, it felt so motivating, it just felt so comforting. I loved that book. This one fell flat for me. I rated it a 3 stars. I did enjoy it. I like the premise of this book and the magical realism. So the premise is, there's this cherry blossom bookshop. To get there, you have to be reading the same book, the same passage as the girl in the bookshop during cherry blossom season in spring. So if you happen, and you can't you never know what the girl's gonna be reading, so you can't make yourself go there. It's completely coincidence. But if you're reading by a cherry blossom tree in cherry blossom season, and you happen to be reading the same passage of the same book as the owner of the shop, you will be transported to the shop where a small miracle will happen. So our first protagonist of the first chapter, she's just lost her mum, and listen, this was actually kind of depressing. I'm not gonna lie. There was someone had died, or actually, yeah, every single chapter someone had died, and it was to talk to a loved one, essentially, or to experience. There was twins at one point, and so it wasn't to speak to the loved one, but it was to experience from the other person's point of view. It was a weird one. So they were all very sad, and chapter 2, the guy's got Alzheimer's, and memory loss really triggers me. I'm so upset by that idea of people losing their memories. I just think memories are so important. So I liked the idea of this book. I just didn't connect to any of the characters like I did with What You Were Looking For Is in the Library. I was connected to every single character, even though it was a 50-page chunk that they got each. So I thought that's what disappointed me a bit and what brought the rating down. But it is a cozy, quick read if you want to pick it up, and it's beautiful. So, okay, next I read The Bond That Burns by Briar Berlin, and I have graciously rated this a 3.5 stars and a 3 spice rating. I read On Wings of Blood last year, and for some reason, even though I was enjoying reading it, I really struggled to read it. I just kept getting distracted, kept getting bored. But I was interested, and I was like, okay, I like where this is going, but I was frustrated by how little we knew about our FMC. And then I found out it's because there was a prequel series, and she is in that, and no one was talking about the fact there was a series you probably should read first to know anything about her. Is her name Medra? I think it's Medra. Yeah, you don't know anything about her, and the whole series, the whole last book was alluding to this previous life where she came from, but you don't get told anything explicitly, and you're in her head. She could just give you a quick backstory. Well, she does kind of, but not fully. Anyway, then the ending happens, and I had just started to like our MMC, and then he decided he didn't know what consent was, and so I hate him now. And that hasn't changed, to be honest with you. I hate Blake an ungodly amount. I have never hated an MMC more. I don't think. There was one bit I screenshotted. So this is from the first, it's 13% in. And Medra she's talking to a tribunal about how she's been forced into everything since she's joined the school, since she got there basically. She's not been able to make a decision for herself. She's had so much forced on her, and she just wants to be able to make a decision about her own life for a change. And his inner monologue, he said, it's good luck, Pendragon, I wanted to call out. Good luck complaining to a room full of high bloods about permission when you were a Blightborn. she'd lose the crowd sympathy quickly. They generally didn't like it when Blightborn played the victims. I barely resisted the urge to shout, "Grow a fucking backbone, Pendragon." He started out kind of bullying her in the first book, but it was more he allowed his other consort to bully her. Then he was fine, and then he forgot what consent was. And then since then, this whole, like for the first 50% of this book, he bullied her horrendously. He harassed her. And not only her, but her friends. And one of her friends is his own fucking cousin, who he's normally pretty close with. So he just, because he couldn't admit that what he did was wrong, he couldn't apologise, he was too prideful, too ignorant, too spiteful. He was taking offence by the fact that she doesn't want to be bonded to him, doesn't want anything to do with him, doesn't want to be forced to be with him like she has been previously. And he took offence to that because he's a high blood and therefore he's better than everyone else. So he's a stupid, ignorant, entitled little prick, and I hate him. I really hate him. He got better, and then he made another stupid decision at the end again of this book. So, but I'm very interested in the plot, so I'm gonna continue the series for the plot. But in the romance, it's dead to me. I don't want anything to do with it. I just want to know what's gonna happen going forward, and I really hope there's a revolution and that the majority of the really shitty high bloods die. That's what I'm hoping happens. But I thought this was going to be a 3-book series, and now I'm finding out it's going to be 5. So God knows what's being dragged out. If it was originally 3 books and now it's 5, that just tells me book 3 is incredibly dragged out and has barely any plot in order to drag it out for 2 more books. Anyway, then I read Fight by Sloane St. James. This one I rated a 3.75 and a 3.5 chili pepper rating because it was spicy from the get. There was a lot of spice. And some of it was a little kinky, so it was, yeah. Anyway, I read this one because on the cover the guy has a mustache, and my book club prompt was men with slutty mustaches. So I found this one randomly, and I decided to give it a go. So I have realised I do not remember their names, and it's the last book I read. Well, I was reading 3 books at one time at one point, so it's not the last book I finished, but our MMC is a wildfire firefighter, so he's got a very dangerous job. Our FMC is an EMT, and she has recently escaped essentially a religious cult. There's a lot of religious trauma she's got to get over. It was just really fun. A little bit of a miscommunication trope, but it worked for the story. Like, the story had to have it, if that makes sense, so I wasn't too bothered by that. It was just a giggly fun time, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 books. I think Protect and Honor is books 2 and 3. So yeah, it was just small town, giggly fun time, firefighters. Like, yeah, what more do you need like this time of year? So I haven't got a lot to say about it. It was very entertaining. Was it the best thing I read? No. But I did really enjoy it. And I absolutely raced through that book. And it's very spicy. So that is the 8 books I read in April. I rambled more than I was meant to, and I do apologise for that. So I'm gonna go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. Let me know what you think about this Blood Ring Academy, On Wings of Blood, The Bond That Burns. If you've read the next one, let me know. Do you also hate Blake? Do you like Blake? I just even needed to know if you like Blake or not, and why you like him if you do. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.